Let me just add one other thing to really depress everybody before I open this up for questions. And that is, it's still another reason why I'm cautious on this market. I'm hardly a bear. I'm usually optimistic, but there's another aspect to this story that we would be foolish to ignore, and that's geopolitics, the threat that is quite real on the geopolitical front in two areas in particular. The first is the ongoing crisis in Western Europe. And I understand Mario Draghi, the head of the European Bank, has said a lot of positive things, that we were not going to allow the euro to fail. We'll do whatever it takes. Well, good luck with that. You've got to convince the Germans that they'll do whatever it takes. I'm not sure that Merkel and the German voters are willing to just flat out guarantee Spanish bonds. I mean, they'd have to be crazy to do that. And I think that the likelihood is growing by the day that Western Europe is headed into a really deep recession. I think this was a case of austerity being too severe. I think it's a case of labor laws never being changed. They still have not laid off one federal worker in Athens, not one. And I think that as you see these countries sink into recession, the UK is sinking deeper into recession. Hollande in France, now there's a real socialist. Hollande has just announced he's going to raise the top tax rate to 75%. That ought to get the economy going. I would think that's really, all he's going to do is drive famous chefs and athletes and fashion models to Monaco. So, you know, I think that much of Europe will stay in a very nasty recession for at least another year, with further risk, not just of Greece and Spain, but the next country on this list of dominoes, obviously, is Italy. And this buffoon, Berlusconi, is talking about coming back. I mean, I don't see that as the answer for Italy. He's talking about ignoring any kind of austerity. So that's one thing that I would like to say has turned the corner, but I'll believe that when I see it. The other is deadly serious, and that obviously is Israel-Iran. That is still out there. If anything, the tensions have deepened over the last 6 or 7 months. I thought in April, March, there was a chance that maybe we could get a deal, that the Iranians would be persuaded that it would be in their best interest to avoid the threat of a devastating attack from Netanyahu. So what have the Iranians done? They've become extremely resistant to any kind of negotiations. They've rejected any transparency on their nuclear program. They're in the fight right now with Syria, probably the most reprehensible dictatorship in the world today. So I think that the Iranians are not going to be moved. And that, therefore, raises the issue, how much longer can Netanyahu and the Israelis sit by as the Iranians get closer and closer to a dirty bomb? That's a story that is going to be with us for another 2 or 3 years. The question is, at what point would Netanyahu decide strategically he might have an opening? And I would have to say that window opens the day after the election. I don't think between now and November 6th, Netanyahu would strike, because I think deep down in he wants Romney to win. They work together, he knows Romney, he does not like Obama, and the feeling is mutual. But I think after the election, Netanyahu may calculate that he has a window, a limbo period between the election and inauguration on January 20th. I don't think he'd move now because he would think that many incumbent presidents benefit from a foreign crisis. And whether you like Obama or not, I think on foreign policy you have to say, he's killed more bad guys than Dick Cheney could have ever dreamed of killing. So my sense is that Netanyahu would not want to give Obama a chance to be in the limelight in a crisis. The voters sometimes don't want to change horses in times of a big crisis. But that one is not going to go away. And I fear as we come to the end of this year, that's going to be almost as important for the markets as the fiscal cliff.